Hey viewers, and welcome to a massive horror DVD and Blu-ray update. I've got a ton of titles to get through, so I'm just going to go through each title. The majority I actually haven't had a chance to watch yet, but some of them I have, and there's a few titles that I want to go into more detail about, so there'll be separate reviews of those certain titles up on my channel at some point, so stay tuned for those. And I'd just like to give a quick thank you to Ryan1988 aka Justin and 14 Goodfella. They basically took some time out to talk some horror movies with me, and I've picked up some of their recommendations, so thanks a lot guys for chatting to me about some great horror films. So, and on a little side note, Justin did a slasher collection video which was awesome, by the way. And yeah, I came away with a few titles that I wanted to pick up from the list, so thanks a lot Justin. I haven't picked them up yet, but I plan to do so. Prom Night, April Fool's Day, Sleepaway Camp, which sounds awesome by the way, Happy Birthday to Me, the two Sorority Row movies, the two My Bloody Valentine films, which I'm fucking obsessed with that movie title, My Bloody Valentine. Whoever came up with that horror title is a genius. I think it's a fantastic title. So yeah, they're just a few that I plan to pick up at some point. So Justin, thanks for that. And I'm just going to get straight into this update. A lot of titles, not a lot of time. So the first one I picked up from Big W, and to the Australian viewers, Big W have got a Blu-ray sale at the moment, so check that out. And this is Vacancy. It's basically a slasher film set in a motel about a young couple that go to stay in the motel. Sinister things happen and they have to try and escape. I haven't actually seen it yet, but I've heard it's pretty good. Next is Piranha 3D. This is my very first 3D Blu-ray, under 20 bucks at Big W. Exceptional film. I had a lot of fun with this. I pretty much got everything I wanted from the film. So if you're looking for something that doesn't take itself too seriously, corny, campy, cheesy, gore-fest fun is what this film is all about. Justin actually reviewed this and talked about it on one of his videos, so thanks Justin, that you basically sold me on the film, and I'm so glad I picked it up. It's another great film from Alexandra Aja, who directed The Hills Have Eyes remake and High Tension and Switchblade Romance. Great horror director right there, and this is another great addition to his horror library. Next we have The Collector, which I haven't seen. I've heard mixed things about it, but I still wanted to check it out. And finally, this got cheap enough for me to pick up, and it's Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. Nowhere near as good as the original, and they kind of blew it on the whole backstory on Freddy, but other than that, pretty fun remake. On to some UK imports, and the first one we have is Suspiria. This is an exceptional movie. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. It's just like, I've never seen anything like it before. Visually amazing. The Blu-ray is well worth picking up. Keep in mind it's region B, so to the US viewers, if you have access to a region free player, it's well worth the import. The transfer is amazing. This is just an exceptional movie. Loved it. Next I picked up House of the Devil, which is a throwback to 80s horror. Haven't watched it, but I've heard very good things about it. The next three are Arrow releases, so I'll be doing individual reviews on them at some point, and the first one is Deep Red. Day of the Dead. And Dawn of the Dead. So yeah, I'll be doing individual reviews on those, looking at the contents and talking about the films. And I'll also be reviewing this bad boy, and that is Silent Night, Deadly Night. Justin, thank you so much for recommending this to me. I friggin' love it. It's one of my favourite slasher films now, and just one of my favourite horror films all round as well. It's just absolutely fun. I loved it. The Killer Santa, great idea. The grandpa was creepy as hell. This is just a great 80s horror film. Highly recommend picking up Silent Night, Deadly Night. Brilliant. Next is the Halloween 25 Years of Terror 2-disc set. Comes with the original movie and the 25 Years of Terror documentary. I love Halloween, the original, and the Rob Zombie edition, so I was wanting to pick this one up and have a look at the overall series. I've heard it's one of the best horror documentaries as well. Next, I've heard a lot of people talk about this film and I wanted to pick it up for myself, and that is Night of the Comet. Next is Creepshow, which I've heard is one of the best horror anthologies. Comes in a nice slipcase with awesome art on the cover. Cartoon comic book style there. Love it. 2-disc set stacked with some pretty good bonus features, so I'm looking forward to watching this one. Next is another horror anthology from the 70s, From Beyond the Grave. Now I highly recommend picking this one up. It is brilliant. Pretty underrated, and that is Dance of the Dead, which to sum it up, it's the teenage equivalent to Shaun of the Dead, about a group of teenagers trying to stop zombies on senior prom night. Pretty good effects, great kills, and some nice weapons in this film, so yes, please check this one out. Very good. Next we have David Cronenberg's Videodrome. I've heard a lot of people talk about this recently, so I wanted to check this one out for myself. The next lot of films I picked up from an Australian website called moviesplus.com.au, and I'll leave a link to their website in the description bar. They offer free shipping and they have pretty reasonable prices, and they have some pretty hard to find rarer horror titles, so I took advantage of that. I picked up Tales from the Crypt the movie. Haven't watched it yet, but I was a huge fan of the television series. Zombie Flesh Eaters, which is the Lucio Fulci film, also known as Zombie. Wanted to finally check this one out, see what all the fuss was about. Tales from the Dark Side, a fantastic 3-story horror anthology. I enjoyed the last story the best, which was the Gargoyle one. Recommend picking this one up, it was a lot of fun. And the last 3 are slashers. This one's from the 80s, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, and that is Terror Train, about a masked killer on a train stalking and killing a group of graduate students, I believe. Heard really good things about this one as well. Next, I was pretty pleased to pick up, I've heard a lot of great recommendations and a lot of great things about this film, Motel Hell. This is pretty rare to find, especially on its own. Love the cover art. And the last one, which I'm super pumped to check out, and that's Laid to Rest. I've heard a lot of good things about this as well. I've heard it's one of the best modern day slashers, and the killer, Chrome Skull, sounds really interesting as well. Well, that's it for this update. Yay, I managed to get it all done within the time limit. So yeah, if you've seen any of the films, as always, I'd love to hear your comments, so definitely comment about my pickups. And as always, thanks a lot for watching.